Yo, what's up? Dr. Swole here, MD, pro natural physique athlete, back with another video. Today I'm going to be giving you a full science-based hypertrophy program based on the upper-lower full body split. This is a 3-day split that divides your body up into an upper body day, lower body day, and full body day. I'm covering this because of popular demand. I've had a lot of requests for this in my comments. This one's an interesting split, and after giving it some thought, I realized that there are some specific advantages to this kind of setup. This is a low volume program well designed for a beginner or someone who responds to low volumes. Quick outline for today, I'm going to be giving you a full hypertrophy program based on this 3-day split. We'll start off with the program walkthrough, where I share everything you'll need to know to run the program, including exercises, sets, and reps. After that, we'll talk about the weekly setup, that is how to spread out your days across the week. And finally, we'll talk about the specific pros and cons of the upper-lower full body split. For more full science-based hypertrophy programs like this for free, make sure you subscribe to my channel, like the video, and let's get into it. All right, let's do our program walkthrough. So this is Dr. Swole's 3-day upper-lower full body program. It's set with low volumes, so well designed for a beginner or someone who responds well to low volumes. We've got upper body day, lower body day, and full body day. Here are the exercises, and there are the sets and reps. Over here we have the total number of sets you do each workout, so you can get an idea of workout length. And down here we have the total weekly set count for each muscle group. You'll see that this is a low volume program. Let's start off with our upper body day. We kick it off with bench press for the chest, 3 sets of 5 to 8. After that, we have dumbbell overhead press, 3 sets of 6 to 10, followed by weighted chin-ups for the back, 4 sets of 6 to 10. Then we have close grip bench press, which I count for the chest and triceps, 3 sets of 6 to 10. When you're a beginner or if you're someone training with low volumes, I recommend using lots of compound movements like these. This is because they activate a lot of muscle mass and will give you more bang for your buck. You really want to be maximizing your overall stimulus from each exercise, especially if you're training 3 days a week or less. Now you can superset these close grip bench presses with single arm dumbbell rows for the back, 4 sets of 10 to 15. These were my favorite back exercise, especially when I started out. The issue is at some point you're going to get too strong for the dumbbells in your gym, but they're great for people in their first few years of training. After that, we have barbell upright rows for the side delts, 3 sets of 8 to 12, and then dumbbell lateral raises for the side delts as well, 3 sets of 8 to 12. Moving on to lower body day, we start off with a squat for the quads, 3 sets of 5 to 8. After that, we have Romanian deadlifts for the glutes and hamstrings, 3 sets of 6 to 10. Next, we have leg presses for the quads, 3 sets of 8 to 12. And then we have lunges, which I count for quads and glutes and hamstrings, 3 sets of 8 to 12. And this is 8 to 12 reps for each leg. You'll see that I like to start off the day with our toughest heavy compound movement first and move on towards less fatiguing exercises later in the workout. I like this approach for beginners because it allows you to get the most out of your big heavy compound movements, and thus develop the most amount of overall hypertrophy stimulus for each workout. Then we have lying bicep curls, which are my favorite bicep exercise, and you do these by lying on a bench flat on your back. They're basically a more extreme version of the incline curl that just gives you more of a stretch. 4 sets of 6 to 10. After that, we have cable lateral raises for the side delts, 3 sets of 10 to 15. And here you might say, Bill, wait a second. These aren't lower body exercises. And I made this modification to this little subsegment of the upper lower split here because it allows you to train your biceps and your side delts when they're fresh. The biceps often get fatigued by heavy back exercises, especially for those that involve the biceps heavily, like weighted chin-ups. By moving the biceps off of upper body day onto lower body day, you can train them when they're really fresh, and you'll end up being able to use more weight or move more reps. By moving these exercises over here, you'll see that I also sneakily create a 3 times per week frequency for the biceps and the side delts. The biceps get trained with your back movements, with your bicep work here, and on full body day. And your side delts are getting trained directly 3 times per week. I think these small muscle groups tend to respond well to high frequencies. And this is a good example of how splits really aren't set in stone. You should really just look at a split as a basic framework for setting up your program, and you can make modifications as needed. Finally, we have standing single leg calf raises, which you can add weight to with a dumbbell, 3 sets of 8 to 12. Lastly, let's talk about our full body day. We start off with deadlifts, which I count for glutes and hamstrings, 3 sets of 5 to 8. Note here that I center each day around one of our big 3 lifts: squat, bench, and deadlift. And with the rep scheme I've laid out, it's going to be very easy for you to sub in some basic strength programming in a plug and play fashion. Beginners can in large part develop strength and hypertrophy at the same time without much interference. So I'd encourage you to really focus on getting stronger in these big lifts. Then we have front squats for the quads, 3 sets of 6 to 10. After that, we have incline dumbbell press for the chest, 3 sets of 8 to 12. Then we have T-bar rows for the back, 4 sets of 8 to 12, followed by barbell upright rows for the side delts, 3 sets of 10 to 15. Notice that in this program, I'm really focusing a lot on free weight movements. And this is for a similar reason in what I was talking about earlier about compounds. Free weight movements involve more stabilization and will overall activate a bit more muscle mass. This comes with a bit of an extra cost in terms of fatigue, but as a beginner, you're not going to run into fatigue issues because you're just not lifting enough weight. I think it's a great thing for beginners to get used to training with free weights as well, because it gets you training in a bit more of an athletic pattern. After that, we have easy bar curls for the biceps, 4 sets of 8 to 12, and you can superset these with easy bar skull crushers for the triceps, 3 sets of 10 to 15. You'll see that I like to train different body parts from different angles on different days. For example, we have a day when we're bench pressing flat and then incline, and we have a day when we're doing lying bicep curls and then upright bicep curls. This will allow you to focus on different parts of the muscle. Finally, we have more standing calf raises for the calves, 3 sets of 10 to 15. One other thing to point out here is that when I repeat an exercise, I change up the rep ranges. This can help you distribute fatigue a little bit better and can make training more interesting. Finally, if you look at our total workout set volumes, our lower body day has the least number of sets. This is because your lower body training is going to be more fatiguing than upper body training. And as I said, I like to spread out my fatigue as evenly as possible across the week. Question of the day, how many days per week are you training? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, now that you've seen the program, let's talk about the program setup throughout the week. So here's my preferred layout. We start off with rest day, then upper body, lower body, rest, full body, and then rest. At this point, a lot of you are probably wondering why I didn't space out these upper and lower body days. And the reason I didn't was because I wanted to spread out your training for each specific muscle group as evenly across the week as possible. Basically, I wanted an even amount of recovery between sessions training the same muscle. So for example, your leg training on lower body day would be as spread out as possible from your further leg training done on full body day. If you had spread the days out more evenly across the week, for example, upper rest, lower rest, full body, then your lower body training would get bunched up later in the week. And for your second session on the full body day, you probably wouldn't perform as well because you might still be fatigued from your lower body day. Now, this setup does have a specific disadvantage that we'll talk about in the pros and cons. The other concern here is that you might be fatigued on your lower body day after upper body day. But one of the advantages of the upper lower split is that you don't have very much crosstalk, and an upper body day is significantly easier than a lower body day, so putting it first won't interfere with your leg training that much. Okay, let's talk about the pros and cons of this upper lower full body split. Starting off with the pros. First of all, this split is designed for 3 days per week so that you get a twice per week frequency. I often recommend that people go with a full body split if training 3 days per week. However, one of the issues that beginners may run into is that if they have trouble modulating their amount of intensity and volume and they end up really sore, or if they just like training really hard and that's their style, then training 3 days per week may run into fatigue issues. That is, they may have consistent overlapping soreness and end up with chronic overuse injuries. This setup still allows you to hit my recommendation of at least twice per week frequency for all muscle groups, but can keep things under control if you get really sore and it takes you days for that to dissipate. Next, when you split your body into the upper and lower portion of the week, you can focus a bit more on your upper and lower body parts. Some people like being able to do a few more sets and focus more on each muscle group. You might also get a bit more of a pump in each muscle group this way. Finally, this layout of upper, lower, and then full body later in the week can be convenient for people if they really need to have 2 days back to back. For example, they like to train on Saturday, Sunday on the weekend, and then one more day throughout the week. This, however, does have a disadvantage to it, which we'll talk about now. Okay, finally, let's talk about the cons of this program. First of all, addressing the point I just mentioned, you have a suboptimal fatigue distribution. Fatigue distribution is how you spread out your training stress across the week. And I typically like to spread out training stress as evenly as possible across the week. The issue here with the upper-lower full body split is that you have 2 days back to back and you're not making the best use of your rest days. As I said, this isn't as big of an issue because upper and lower doesn't conflict as much with each other. Also, since I designed this program with low volumes and for beginners, it probably won't be as much of an issue. Really optimizing fatigue distribution becomes more of a thing when you become more advanced. You might ask why I didn't just split up the upper and lower days, and that's because you'll end up bunching up training the same muscle group throughout the week. So I chose the lesser of the two disadvantages. Finally, some people might find that they have a long full body day just because there are more exercises on a full body day, and you might spend more time waiting for equipment. Now I will be sharing an Excel file containing this full program as laid out here in my Facebook group. So if you haven't joined the group already, find the link in the description below, join the group, and you can download the program for free. I've had a lot of people telling me about their transformations with my programs, and it's been really motivating. Now, of course, with fitness, training is only one side of the coin. You've got to get your diet in check too. If you want to shed some of that stubborn body fat or build muscle and lose fat at the same time, that is body recomposition, check out my book where I walk you through step by step how to set up your diet to achieve these. Now, I have to say that overall, this probably isn't my first go-to split for 3 days per week. And that is largely because of the fatigue distribution issue. But if you're only able to train, say, on the weekends and then one day in the middle of the week, or if you get really sore from your workouts and have difficulty training everything 3 days per week, then the split might be a good one for you. If you want to see an example of a 3-day full body split set with low volumes, check out this video here where I share a full program designed for power building. That is building strength and size simultaneously, which can be achieved very realistically by beginners. If you've been getting value from my free hypertrophy programs, make sure you share them with one of your gym buddies, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.